We're now going to talk about LSA, and that is the Luxembourg Space Agency that was founded in 2018, and it promotes commercial space sector in Luxembourg, of course, with supporting innovation and also elevating business opportunities and providing initial financial solutions to really pioneer the future of space. And we're also proud to say that LSA is a sponsor of Asteroid Day. And with me here in the studio to talk more about this, I have Bob Lamboret, who is the policy officer at the LSA, where he is following space science and exploration matters and supporting the development of local talents through educational programs and research projects. And you're also a delegate at ESA for the Science and Exploration Program, and you're actively involved in the development of the Space Resources LU here in Luxembourg. So warm welcome, Bob.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Now, I gave a bit of a description to LSA, but you're not sort of a traditional space agency in the sense that you don't build or launch missions of your own. You're more of a collaborate nature, which is as important between key players in the space industry. So why, in your sense, is this important, and where did this approach come from?
That's a very interesting point, and you're absolutely true. We are not a traditional space agency. We do not have our own missions. We have a different, a more commercial perspective on space activities. And to understand this, you need to go back to the 80s with the creation of SCS, which was created with a purely commercial business case. Back then, Luxembourg was not even a member at the European Space Agency. And the successful development of that company demonstrated the power of commercial activities in space. And so today we have a much broader vision, and we try to address all the different domains around space, much more than just satellite communication. And our mission is to develop an ecosystem with many different diverse players. And we do this through different support from public research, to have the right funding tools, have the right regulatory frameworks.
Really creating that ecosystem, one would say. And if we look at many of our space treaties that have been designed, they were more designed for sort of governments in mind. How does this help, or maybe it sort of hinders, commercial companies that now want to utilize space for profit?
Yeah, that's true. So the space treaties is true. The space treaties were written in a time when space was mostly driven by the public side, but it does not really hinder the commercial use of space. The treaties are very broad, and they allow more private actors to play a role. And the governments nowadays, they have then the responsibility to translate the treaties into laws and regulatory frameworks that allow the commercial side to use space. I think this process went very well and is very mature in areas like satellite communications, and in other areas like space resource. We are at the very beginning of this process, but we are confident that we get there.
And I mentioned spaceresources.lu, the initiative, and I know it was there to position sort of Luxembourg as this pioneer in the exploration and utilization of space resources. Tell us just briefly, what will these resources allow us to do?
Well, they will allow us to do many things. In the beginning, I think the water and the hydrogen and oxygen in the water will allow us to make different, deeper, longer human space exploration. So the astronauts can stay for longer duration on the lunar surface. We can travel to Mars. And then in a later phase, we can also use the resource to build habitats, to protect the astronauts from radiations, and use the metals to manufacture tools, for example.
And I'm just thinking, out of a sustainability perspective, because that is really at the core of everything now, not least on Earth and not least in space, how do we sort of ensure that one also has sort of an ethical and sustainable implication when one is sort of exploring space?
That's a very important point, and we Luxembourg put this very clearly forward in the statement of the Space Resource.lu initiative, where Luxembourg says that we aim to contribute to the peaceful exploration and sustainable utilization of space resources. To get there, I think this can only be achieved on an international level. And thus, Luxembourg supports these discussions around sustainable use of space resource in many different levels, at informal and informal forums. We participated in the Hague International Governance Working Group. We discussed this with our partners in the Artemis Accords, and we also actively participate in the discussions at UN level. But furthermore, I think it's also important that we have the right technologies to do this, to achieve this, and that's why sustainability is also a very important topic for the European Space Resource Innovation Center that we recently created in Luxembourg.
And it really shows that even when it comes to sustainability, it's also a collaborative approach. All the stakeholders need to be there to be able to really create that sustainable approach. Last but not least, LSA is a proud sponsor of Asteroid Day. Tell me, why is it important to have an initiative like Asteroid Day live?
For us, Asteroid Day is very, very interesting and important for three reasons. First, there's the scientific side. Asteroids allow us to really better understand the history and the origin of our solar system. Then there is certainly the aspect of planetary defense, which is a hugely important topic for the future. And then last but not least, there's also the value of the resource in the asteroids. And I think the Space Resource.eu initiative is also closely looking into the resources that are available and present a tremendous opportunity for the future.
Thank you so much, Bob, and also LSA for the support that you give Asteroid Day. It's really valuable, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you.